Hello everyone, welcome to Synthesis IAS Academy, a place where blend of ideas take place. About me, I am Sandeep Bhushan and my credentials are I have 10 years of teaching experience for civil services. I take up issue-based current affairs. And my session will certainly help you to crack prelims and mains examination, because throughout my session I would be emphasizing on the keywords and the key phrases which will be very useful for preliminary examination as well as mains examination. So when we are talking in regards to the mains examination, while you are imbibing the keywords and the key phrases, your answers would be precise and concise. Thereby you will certainly score higher marks in the mains examination. So my session will definitely have a thorough impact on the mains 2020 as well as prelims and mains 2021. And the topic for the day is Gupkar Declaration. Gupkar Declaration, and we will focus in regards to what is Gupkar Declaration, and we'll also look into the subtopics of the Mehbooba Mufti release, and then what is actually Gupkar Declaration 1 and 2, and then whether all the regional parties which have come together and signed the declaration, that whether it will be a united front. It's a very big question mark whether they will all be united for the Gupkar Declaration. And another subtopic is that the Jammu and Kashmir parties, all the regional political parties have teamed up for restoring the special status. So the main importance of the declaration or the signing of the declaration is to restore the special status which has abrogated by the Article 370 and 35A, and we'll also focus at what are the various challenges for the Gupkar declarations which is supposed to come up in the near future. And now in regards to the Mehbooba Mufti release, the Jammu and Kashmir administration on October 13th has revoked the Detention of Public Safety Act. So she was detained by the act called as Public Safety Act, and the former Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, Miss Mehbooba Mufti, which she is from the People's Democratic Party, that is PDP, was under arrest for almost 14 months. And she was released on October 13th. So there was a petition which was filed by her daughter, Mehbooba Mufti daughter, that is Iltija Mufti, in the Supreme Court, and she has filed a petition in regards to the habeas corpus, that the writ petition habeas corpus, that the former Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister and her mother to know the whereabouts of the former Chief Minister of Mehbooba Mufti, and also the whereabouts of her mother Mehbooba Mufti, and also in regards to the immediate release. So when the petition was filed, the Supreme Court has definitely looked into the petition, has taken up the case, and it has asked the Jammu and Kashmir administration. So it has questioned the Jammu and Kashmir administration that how long you would take up the case in regards to the Public Safety Act, and how long, what is a long period of time that Mehbooba Mufti would be under detention in regards to the Public Safety Act. So the Supreme Court on September 29 has questioned the Jammu and Kashmir administration, and on October 13th she was released, and October 15th the hearing was supposed to take place. But the Supreme Court, because Mehbooba Mufti was released on October 13th, the case which was supposed to be heard on October 15th, they have closed the petition because Mehbooba Mufti has been released by the detention. And once she was released, the National Conference President Farooq Abdullah and then the Vice President Umar Abdullah, along with the PDP party president, that is Mehbooba Mufti, all of them have come together and they have extended the invitation. What they have actually signed on the August 4th 2019, that they have signed the Gupkar Declaration. So now they have made it very clear that once the Mehbooba Mufti was released, they have again make sure that they all will come together, the one who have signed the Gupkar Declaration, the pact to fight for the restoration of the Jammu and Kashmir special status. So they have signed the Gupkar Declaration on August 4th 2019. So now after the release of the Mehbooba Mufti, now they have come forward and then they have made it very clear that they would all come forward and then fight for the restoration of the Jammu and Kashmir special status. And now this statement which was made by the former 3 chief ministers and various political party heads, this is called as Gupkar Declaration 2, and this is to fight for the safeguard and the special status of the Jammu and Kashmir, wherein the Article 370 and 35A was abrogated on August 5th 2019 by the Government of India. So they are fighting against the repeal of Article 370 and 35A. Therefore, the Gupkar Declaration 1 and the Gupkar Declaration 2 is in regards to the revoking of the Article 370 and 35A and to safeguard this Jammu and Kashmir special status or the rights of the people. And now we will focus at what is Gupkar Declaration. So definitely the first Gupkar Declaration was taken up by the all party meeting on August 4, 2019 at the Gupkar residence of the NC National Conference President. So you can see this is a road, the road which is leading, and this is called as Gupkar Road. So the name of the declaration, that is Gupkar Declaration, is on the Gupkar Road. So wherein the NC president, that is National Conference President, stays there. So all the political parties, that is the 6 political parties, have come together and joined, and then they wanted to make sure that they restore the Jammu and Kashmir special status, which was abrogated by the Government of India by repealing the Article 370 and 35A. But the centre, this has come just before the day when the centre has announced its decision for the revocation of the Jammu and Kashmir special status, and the centre has split or bifurcated the Jammu and Kashmir by the Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Act by making sure that the Jammu and Kashmir state is split into 2 union territories, that is Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. So the day just before the central government or the union government has come up with the revocation of the Jammu and Kashmir special status and split it into 2 union territories, that is Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, the first Gupkar Declaration has taken into form on August 4, 2019, and the centre has repealed the Article 370A and 35A on August 5th 2019. So they have all come together, that is the Gupkar Declaration has been taken into shape, so that the political parties have come up unanimously to resolve that they would be making that the Jammu and Kashmir special status would be revoked, and they all would be united to protect and defend the identity, autonomy and special status of Jammu and Kashmir, which they felt that it was attacked and it was onslaught onto the identity, autonomy and the special status of Jammu and Kashmir people. And the statement, that is the Gupkar Declaration, has also added that they would be coming up with various series of measures which have been undertaken on August 5th 2019, that is in regards to the abrogation of Article 370 and 35A by the Union Government, and the splitting of Jammu and Kashmir, that is bifurcating of the Jammu and Kashmir state into J&K and then Ladakh Union Territory. The Gupkar Declaration very clearly mentions that it is a grossly unconstitutional method which has taken, and these are in reality measures of disempowerment and challenge to the basic identity of the people of Jammu and Kashmir. So the Gupkar Declaration very clearly states that the decision taken to upgrade the Article 370A and 35A, Article 370A and 35A are grossly unconstitutional. It disempowerment and it challenges the basic identity of the people of Jammu and Kashmir. But we have seen on August 6, 2019, the centre has imposed strict curfew and there was a blockade to the communication in the entire Jammu and Kashmir because it has revoked its special status, and now there could be a threat that the centre has felt because of the Gupkar Declaration all the 6 regional political parties which have come together, so that they were wanting to revoke the special status of the Jammu and Kashmir. Therefore, on August 6, 2019, the centre has imposed curfew and they have gone ahead with a blockade of the communication in the entire Jammu and Kashmir valley, and it also scrapped Article 35A, which has provided the special status to the residents of Jammu and Kashmir. Meanwhile, various political parties and activists were certainly by the centre, they were rounded up and they were confined to the state facilities itself, and many of the political parties leaders, like the three former chief ministers and various political parties leaders, were also kept under house arrest. So certainly it was a kind of an attack and an onslaught wherein the Gupkar Declaration was clearly sending a message that they wanted to restore the special status of the Jammu and Kashmir, and also they were making it very clear that it was grossly unconstitutional, disempowerment and a challenge to the basic identity of the people of the Jammu and Kashmir. And now we will look at wherein the Gupkar Declaration has been signed by the 6 regional political parties. Now the question arises whether this united front of the 6 regional political parties, whether they would be united, whether they would be united front, is a big question mark which is at the front, or which is looming in front of all the political parties which have come up with the Gupkar Declaration 1 and also on the October 13th Gupkar Declaration 2. Now the leaders which have been come together for the Gupkar Declaration are all old political fault lines. That means there is certainly some kind of disturbances or rivalry or a fault line which is certainly in place, and they are all old political fault lines in Kashmir, and these appear to have been collapsed. And there is experts say that, or various political parties, they are also making it very clear that how could this all political fault lines, political parties can come together and be united. Whether is it possible is the big question mark, and few of them make the point that probably this united front might collapse, that is the Gupkar Declaration might collapse. But there is a possibility that they are all coming together, that for the first time in Kashmir mainstream leaders are talking to each other. Earlier they were all against each other. Earlier before August 4th 2019, all these political parties were all against each other. But after the abrogation of Article 370 and 35A, it is very clear that these old political parties which have the fault lines between each other, they are not against each other, but they have come close together for the first time. They are all talking to each other that they are in the process of restoring the special status of Jammu and Kashmir. And the 6 regional parties which have signed the Gupkar Declaration are the People's Democratic Party, National Conference, People's Conference, Awami National Conference, as well as the Congress is also part of the Gupkar Declaration, and the Communist Party of India CPIM is also part of the Gupkar Declaration, which are all the regional parties. And apart from that, you have one which is a national party, that is Congress, that is INC. And the National Conference, now we will focus a little bit of in depth why there is a question being raised that whether these 6 regional parties which have come together and signed the Gupkar Declaration to restore the special status of Jammu and Kashmir, whether they are all united, whether it would be united, whether it would be moving forward in a united front, is a big question mark. We will look at it because the National Conference and the People's Democratic Party, that is NC and PDP, are definitely the electoral rivals in the valley, that is in the Kashmir. So that is the earlier rivalry which we have seen between the PDP party and the NC party, and now they have come together and then they have been part of the regional parties which they have signed the Gupkar Declaration. That is why a question arises, why is there a possibility that the regional parties would be united, they would stand united, and that united front would be a long lasting one, which are all really wanting to restore the special status of Jammu and Kashmir. And if you look at the another one, that is Awami National Conference, which has been formed by Farooq Abdullah's brother-in-law, that is Ghulam Muhammad Shah, has been used by Delhi, that is the union government, that is the center or the central government, to topple the national conference government in 1984. Look at it. That is, you have again the rivalry between Awami National Conference, ANC, and the National Conference also. So definitely there is a rift between the various political parties, that is the regional political parties in the valley or in the Jammu and Kashmir. Now the question arises whether they are all together, whether they will be moving forward together for the restoration of special status for Jammu and Kashmir. The People's Conference, which was formed by a separatist leader called as Sajat Lone, has started, or he has formed a third front in Kashmir. So look at it again, the People's Conference, which they wanted to again have their prominence in the Kashmir Valley. So they have come up with a third front, making it very clear that they are not together earlier, but now earlier they were not talking to each other, but now they are all come, they have all come together and they are all talking to each other to restore the special status of Jammu and Kashmir. And if you look at the National Conference and the PDP party have once, in the past they have tied up with the Congress, but if you look at the People's Conference head, that is Sajat Lone, has been close to the BJP. Not only that, we have seen recently the BJP and the People's Democratic Party, that is Mehbooba Mufti, were together and they have formed the government, coalition government in Jammu and Kashmir before the president's role was imposed in Jammu and Kashmir. So if you look at the various equations of the political parties along with the BJP and the Indian National Congress, which are the national political parties, with the regional political parties, there is a kind of enmity, there is a kind of friendship, but they are all not together in the entire scenario. If you look at the past scenario in the Jammu and Kashmir Valley, but now they have all come together. Apart from the BJP, they are all come together and then they are signed the Gupkar Declaration so that they will restore the special status of Jammu and Kashmir. Now the Jammu and Kashmir parties have teamed up. Now they are all come together for restoring the special status. So on October 15th, that is yesterday, the National Conference President Farooq Abdullah has chaired a meeting of the regional political parties and he has announced a formation. Look at it. First, the Gupkar Declaration 1 and then Gupkar Declaration 2, and now we have the People's Alliance for Gupkar Declaration. Look at it. So now they have come up with a new grouping on October 15th, 2020, that is yesterday. The NC National Conference President Farooq Abdullah has formed a regional political parties together, have formed a new grouping called as People's Alliance for Gupkar Declaration, and this comprises of the political parties which have signed on the August 4, 2019 to fight for Jammu and Kashmir, revoking for the Jammu and Kashmir special status. And they say that the main intention or the motive of the People's Alliance for Gupkar Declaration, this one, People's Alliance for Gupkar Declaration, is to fight for restoration. And they say that their fight is a constitutional battle to make sure that they return all the rights, so that all the rights are returned back to the people of Jammu and Kashmir. And they are not just talking about the Kashmir, they are also now making it very clear that their constitutional battle to restore the fight, that is the special status of Jammu and Kashmir, is not just pertaining to the Jammu and Kashmir but also to the Ladakh area. Before the abrogation of Article 370, which has taken place on August 5th, 2019. So Gupkar Declaration 1, August 4th, 2019, and then again on October 13th, Gupkar Declaration 2, and on October 15th, the new grouping has been formed, that is called as People's Alliance for Gupkar Declaration. And now we will focus at the challenges what could be for the united front. Definitely we have seen there is rivalry and there was a possibility that few political parties or the regional political parties of Jammu and Kashmir have been together or in alliance with the national parties like INC and also BJP. Now there are other challenges which we would also focus now. If you look at the Ladakh region, they are demanding protection. They are demanding protection of their people under the 6th schedule of the Indian Constitution. So if you look at the Ladakhi people, the major political parties or the MPs of the BJPs also are making it very clear. They have made a point to the center that they are demanding that they would be placed, that is the Ladakh who should be placed under the 6th schedule of the Indian Constitution, so that they would be protected, their demands would be protected. And if you look at the Kashmir, they have signed a declaration to bring back the pre-August 5th Jammu and Kashmir. So one side the Ladakh is wanting the 6th schedule, and the other side the Kashmir has signed the declaration. So this is the biggest challenge. If you look at it analytically, the Ladakh region is wanting that they would be placed under 6th schedule. Kashmir has signed the Gupkar Declaration, but wherein the People's Alliance for Gupkar Declaration is saying that they are fighting a constitutional battle to make sure that they wanted to revoke the special status and the rights of the people of not only Jammu and Kashmir or not only Jammu but also Ladakh region. So look at it, the challenges are definitely ahead. How this Gupkar Declaration would really get into the mode of a successful one, and the participation of the national parties in the Gupkar Declaration dilutes the assertion of the regional identity, which was under threat because of August 5th decision. So the regional parties have come together, that is the one which are in the Jammu and Kashmir, but by the inclusion or the participation of the national parties, that is the Indian National Congress, definitely there is a challenge that whether it will dilute the entire concept of the Gupkar Declaration or People's Alliance of Gupkar Declaration. Because if you look at the Gupkar Declaration 2, in that the member or else the representative from the Indian National Congress did not attend the Gupkar Declaration 2 stating medical emergency, stating medical problems, the one from the Congress has not attended. So probably the participation of the national parties would dilute the Gupkar Declaration. So that is another challenge. And in the Gupkar Declaration is about Jammu and Kashmir, then only regional parties should be part of it. But we have seen in the six political parties which have signed the Gupkar Declaration, even Congress is part of it. But now when we are talking about the Jammu and Kashmir, to restore the special status of Jammu and Kashmir, can the national political party, that is INC, be part of it, and whether if it is part of it, whether the Gupkar Declaration is diluted. So I hope this was very informative, knowledgeable session in regards to the Mains 2020, so that we would focus on the Article 370, abrogation of Article 370 and 35A, and the Gupkar Declaration, which is wanting or revoking or restoration of the special status of Jammu and Kashmir. Again, that you can take it in regards to whether what India or the Prime Minister Narendra Modi wanted, one nation, one constitution, whether it is possible, one nation, one constitution, which has come into existence by abrogation of Article 370 and 35A on August 5th, 2019, and to the contrary of this, now the Gupkar Declaration, whether it would really make sure that it restore the special status of Jammu and Kashmir. By one nation, one constitution, the special status of Jammu and Kashmir is been revoked, but by Gupkar Declaration they wanted to restore back the special status. So there could be a possibility of question being framed in the Mains 2020. So I hope this was a very informative, knowledgeable session to you all, and I would say a very big thank you and a good luck to you all. And then do like the video, share the video and subscribe the video of Synthesis IAS Academy. Do hit the bell button so that you would always have the notification for my future issue based current affairs, and I would come up with the future issue based current affairs which will be very very useful, informative and knowledgeable, and which wherein I will take up a thorough and a understanding of the topics, that is issue based current affairs. Thank you very much.